Good evening, SBC. Good evening, SBCC. Good evening, BSL. And good evening to everyone else within the sounds of my voice, north, south, east, west, and all points in between. You've tuned in to the November 4th, 2025 edition of SBC Tuesday Talk. And I am your host, facilitator, moderator, administrator, van driver, head teacher, and most importantly, head chef, Mr. Mike Walker. Glad to have you here. Glad you can join us. Glad you decided to spend at least an hour or so with us on a Tuesday evening. We don't take that for granted. We appreciate it. And we hope and pray you had a good day today. And if not, well, you made it through this day, and we pray that tomorrow be a better day. Okay, well, we're here for another week. And this month moving on pretty fast with this year. You know, moving on pretty fast. Glitching. Oh, man. And the show just started, too. Ain't that nothing? Okay. And the show just starting. Okay, y'all let me know if I'm looking pretty good, though, while I do these salutations, okay? First up, Vita Songbird. Glad to have you here. She's watching from YouTube. Good to have you here. Marcus Wilbanks from the 205, the Birmingham metro area. Good to have you here, sir. Pastor Duffy Collins from Texas. Good evening to you, ma'am. Sheikah Dozier from the 205. Glad to have y'all here. Glad to have you here. Somebody owe me some pasta salad, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Pastor Reginald Balders from South Carolina. Good to have you here, sir. Venus Curry, good evening to you, young lady. Glad to have you here. Bernice Lohman, good to have you here again with us. Glad to have you here. Also from YouTube in South Carolina, the Gospel Source. Good evening to you, ma'am. Glad to have you here. A Wooten, good to have you here too as well. And another YouTube viewer, Danita Dockery, great to have you here, my sister. Good to have you here. Tara Lynn Taylor, my friend, good evening to you, ma'am. Glad to have you here. Tasha Lachey, good evening. Good evening to you. Good evening. Okay, we got a lot of ground to cover today, so we're just gonna get with this and get these things out the way. Gonna do this, and we're gonna do it this way. First and foremost, we got to do a little update on the situation with SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. As you've been following the news, as a result of the government shutdown, SNAP recipients, about over 40 million U.S. citizens, won't be receiving it. Their benefits as for the month of November. I mean, there's a lot of news that's been changing, though, and I'm going to get through this right quick, though. Two federal courts ruled that the Trump administration must fund SNAP benefits. And the President Donald J. Trump, says that he's going to partially fund it, and we don't know how long it's going to take. He said it might take weeks, might take a month. So, and it seems like as though he may have done an about face, and I'm going to put this on the stage. I'm gonna read this from his Truth Social, and I'm gonna read to this. I'm gonna try to read it though. SNAP benefits, which increased by billions and billions of dollars, manyfold, during crooked Joe Biden's disastrous term in office, due to the fact that they were haphazardly handed to anyone for the asking, as opposed to just those in need, which is the purpose of SNAP, will be given only when the radical left Democrats open up government, which they can easily do and not before. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. There you have it right there. Now, after saying this weekend that he will do it, at least according to this, he's saying he's not. Well, Press Secretary Levitt says that people misunderstood what he said and that he is going to fund SNAP benefits, and it's going to be a partial funding, meaning that whatever you were receiving prior to the government shutdown, you will be receiving half. You will be receiving half for the month of November. So that's how that goes right there. And something else though, and we'll probably go in more discussion about it at the after party though. But here's some other things I want to get to. As you know, there are grocery stores with compassions, supermarket chains that are offering discounts, deep discounts to SNAP benefit recipients because of the shutdown, trying to help people out. Well, the USDA has spoken up to these retailers, and this is what they had to say in regards to that. And I'm going to try to read this as well. Reminder, SNAP EBT authorized retailers must comply with the SNAP equal treatment rule. You must offer eligible foods at the same prices and the same terms and conditions to SNAP EBT customers as other customers, except that sales tax cannot be charged on SNAP purchases. You cannot treat SNAP EBT customers differently than any other customer. Offering discounts or services only to SNAP paying customers is a SNAP violation unless you have a SNAP equal treatment waiver. And I'll read this small print. FNS sends out important updates and reminders to authorized retailers. We urge you to contact us to report any changes in your contact information, so on, blase, etc. Okay. Right there. So that's what that is right there. So, you can't even help those who need help. Now that's something right there. That's something right there. I don't know what to say about that though. I think that's pathetic though. What's your thoughts on that though? You're trying to stop people from helping them get supplies and foods and what have you. And one other thing right there. One other thing I want to show y'all. You got some people who are approaching this SNAP crisis differently. You have those who are approaching this with compassion, but you got some that are acting like horses' asses. Here's a gentleman right here, and I'm going to play this video. And I muted the music because I don't want a copyright strike. He's in a Costco. I think it is a Costco. celebrating. Let's look at this. Let's look at this together. Is it gonna play? Yeah, there you go. If you see him dancing when the grocery aisle is so full since the ABT shoppers are at home crying. You see that right there. That's pretty sad right there. That's sad right there. How can you be so heartless and cruel? And I'll show it one more time. Just look at him. But look at the back of his jacket, though, when he turn around. And I'm going to show a picture to it, though. Look at that. That's sad right there. That is so sad right there. Now, check this out. Another video of his popping shot not too long before or after. Just look at
Lord
this,
knows
right?
I wish I can go back and redo some things in my past. The beautiful thing about Jesus saved. I woke up today in an economy, in a world that has lost hope, that has lost faith, and most important, has lost the love of Christ. But I'm a witness, a testimony that Jesus saved me, coming from the dungeon, coming from the mud, coming from prison, coming from addictions. And yet, he let me live today. Oh yeah, I walk because of him.
Now, people, how could you give a testimony like that wearing a big old Jesus Saves hoodie or jacket, what have you, but then celebrate people not receiving their SNAP benefits? And then I'm going to really hit home with this, him being a minority. That disgusted me right there. We're going to move from this, though. We're going to read what the comments got to say. We're going to read what the comments say. I see my good friend Jewel Caston Mendoza. Great to have you here. I hear Jackie, one of my best friends. Good evening to you, sister. Good evening. And okay, Janet R. Wilson, good evening to you, ma'am. Reggie says if he's talking, he's lying. And if he's typing, he's lying. Talking about the president. And typical yet predictable response from the felon. And that's true, and that is true. That is true, but they're gonna release that because they were trying to help people who were without. So I mean, I get that though, but know what? I'll be fair and post this right here. You can't bend it when we feel like it, then expect it to be enforced and adhered at other times. What a hypocrite. What is going to happen if he needs help? Yeah, great to have you here, Erica. That is not something to scoff at. It is not. It's not. Latoya, good evening. Yeah. Venus, I get you. And good evening. Yes. Again, people, I just pray that the ones, I think that's beyond the and you heard that he's been in jail and addiction and everything. And you see how he's acting like a horse's ass up there dancing. I say this again. Those who scoff at this and have an issue with others trying to help others during this crisis, you better hope and pray you don't get in need like that. That's all I got to say. And I could talk more about that brother, and I might go into detail about him in the after party, though. But enough about that, though. Okay, up next. I'm going to remove this. Up next. Oh, boy, we got a lot of good stuff to go on, though. We're gonna talk about it's gonna be relationship stuff. Um, okay. We're gonna talk about relation. Let me put this up here because I like what you had to say. It's sad how can you love God whom you haven't seen and hate your brother who you see daily. That's a word right there. Thank you, Erica. Okay. I'm trying to look at which one. If we got some good ones, we got a lot of ground to cover. Uh I I've been sitting on this one. So I think I'm gonna talk about this one about uh relationship titles. Relationship titles. Yeah, let's sit back and listen to this one right here. Let's sit back and listen to that. We got two videos for this. So here's the first video.
Good morning, happy Wednesday, folks. I just got a question. I just want to know, is it just me or do others think like this as well? So one guy, I was asking several questions, and I said, what is it you're looking for? And he was like, I want to be in a relationship. So I'm asking, like, what does that look like for you? You know, of course, they're going to give a perfect answer. Then another one said he was looking for a wife. Of course, going to give a perfect answer. But at the end of the day, with both of them there, and what they said and their actions and what they showed didn't match up to what they were looking for. So I feel like a lot of people just want these titles or just want to be with somebody, but actually not putting the effort, you know, for their relationship or to prepare for marriage. Like, so many people just want the title. So many men want to be grooms and don't know how to be a husband. And so many, and women too, so many women want to be a bride but don't know how to be a wife. Like, people just want to be, people are so stuck on titles and what they see that they don't realize that it takes work. You got to put in work. And I'm like, baby, you got to put in effort, but here I am not one of them.
Mm, mm, mm. What y'all think about that right there? What y'all think about that with what she says? Do y'all agree with what she said? You know, how do you feel about relationship titles? You know, is it an outdated concept? Do you still use them? You know how we like to say we get to dating. So what are we? You know, I love to say that. What are we? You know, are we dating? Are we involved? What is it? I know I've asked that before plenty of times. Erica says, people want benefits, but don't want the responsibilities. Real relationships require effort and to be nurtured properly. And you are right. You are right. You know, you want to be called, you know, and I'm gonna lead this up here. You want to be saying, well, I'm her special friend or I'm his special friend though. But what are you doing to, you know, are you nurturing that part of the relationship? You know, okay, yeah, y'all went out on dates and this and that. But how are you earning? Oh, that's a good one right there. Are you earning that title? Are you earning that title of boyfriend, girlfriend, lady friend, male friend? Are you earning that title? Are you earning the titles that come with that? Mm, I see. Okay. Okay. Biscuit. Good to have you. No lies told. Actions and words need to match. I think it's cute, old school, asking me to be your girlfriend with the yes or no, or maybe box options. Yes. Them were the good old days right there. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that. You got to know where you stand in order to know where you're going. I like that right there. I like that. You've got to know where you stand in order to know where you're going. Oh, I like that right there. Erica, we need to establish what the relationship is so we know where we are headed and how we are investing our time we are spending. I like that. And that is a good point right there. That's a good point right there. We need to know because time is a precious commodity. People don't realize that, but time is a precious commodity. You know, just like money and other precious metals, time is valuable. And I don't want to waste 3, 4, 5 months with you and nothing comes out of it. You know, we go our separate ways. Nothing accomplished. So, yeah, I need to know too. Victoria, she's right. We have to know ourselves and what we need. Then we need to communicate them to others. Absolutely. Because I don't have mind reading abilities. Tell me, what is it that you are looking for? Am I accomplishing that goal? How close am I getting to that goal? Help me out now. How many of y'all agree or disagree? Latoya, I think it's good to define the relationship. Anytime a relationship requires work, you are right. You are, ooh, I like that right there. Any type of relationship requires work. You are absolutely right. You know, and just hold on right there, Latoya. I'm glad you said that. That's a good segue to the other video in regards to this topic. Sit back and take a listen.
Titles are the most important thing in any relationship that you have in life. Let me repeat this for a second. Titles are the most important thing that you have in any relationship in life, because when you have titles on things, you're able to give that title a description. And what I mean by a description is, once you're able to place a title on it, you're able to place expectations on it. So you're actually able to gauge how you should be treated depending on the title that you put on that person. How are you out here having unprotected sex with a person and you don't even know where you stand in their life? How are you bringing people around your children, bringing people around your family, and you don't know where they stand in your life? You cannot put a title on them. You cannot hold them accountable, and you have no expectations for them, but you bring them inside of your home. Nobody in this world goes to work and don't have a job description. Do you know why job descriptions are so important? Because it tells me how much to pay you, how much vacation time you get, how much of a pension you get, how much hurt time you get. Everything in this world has a title, because everything with titles come with expectations and guidelines that you have to either live by or get fired. But y'all don't hear me though.
I like that right there. What y'all got to say about that? What y'all think about that right there? Let me see. Let me see what we got here. Oh, y'all been talking to. Right here. Let's go to Sheila. Great to have you here. It's about expectations. A person should know what you expect from them. That way they can decide if they want to meet those expectations. Okay. Danita, I absolutely agree with relationship titles. I have learned to have some clarity and understanding of where you stand with a person. Assumptions leads to disappointments. You can get a lot of other things, but you can't get more time. Amen to that. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth right there? Okay, let's see. Is it a situationship or relationship? There's a difference. Okay. Our relationship with God requires work. Tara Lynn, I don't believe that relationships are not the same as they were years ago. The standards are low. People want the title, but not fulfill the requirements. So many people sell for just for the title. Ain't that the truth right there? People want the title, but not fulfill the requirements. Some people sell just for the title. And sometimes they don't receive the benefits of that title. And sometimes they haven't even earned it. Wow. Yeah, he's telling the truth, okay? Marcus, relationship titles should never be taken for granted. Ooh, know what you said, something right there, Ma. For married couples, I hear the phrase happy wife, happy life from the spouse. And it sometimes don't work if you're lacking the full commitment to protect the wife herself. Okay, interesting take. Relationship titles, you got to be careful. And like the brother says, you got to know where you stand. Where do you stand in this relationship? Yes, you know how we like to say the talking stage, like we always like to say, well, we're talking, but what are we talking toward? At what point, let me know. What are we? What are we? Am I your special guy? You are my special lady. You are my lady. Okay, I can't sing. But a title would be nice. But how many out there don't like titles? I think some people out there don't like titles. How many of y'all don't like titles? Just a quick survey. Just a quick survey. And while I'm waiting on the answer, and it just goes back to that C word when it comes to relationships, communication. And what Erica says, the title needs to be earned, just like you said. Yes, I can't be calling you my lady friend if you haven't earned it. And guess what? I can't be expecting you to call me your guy friend if I hadn't earned it. Right? Right. Hey, Sherry, good to have you here. If a person doesn't want a title, wow. If a person doesn't want a title, that's your answer. She said it right there, y'all. If a person doesn't want a title, well, guess what? That's your answer. Thank you, Sherry. I like that. Effective communication is the key. Cassandra from Kansas, great to have you. Some people don't want titles because it sounds like a commitment. Oh, wow. And they don't want that. And you're right about that. Communication is the key to any relationship. Yes. First, earn my respect before I classify. Ooh. Okay, then. I heard that then. Well, folks, as you know about these titles, we dealing with these relationship woes and hardships and situations. We just got to use wisdom and finding that potential suitor, y'all. And like Sherry said, if they don't want a title, that's your answer. That speaks volumes right there. It's time for you to move on. It's time for you to move on. And let me put these up here. Hookups is what's popular nowadays. Sherry says absolutely 100%. Too many people have a fear of missing out. Oh, wow. And that is why they don't commit sometimes or put on a title. T. Colorado, great to have you here. Relationship titles are not taken seriously. They feel locked in when they have to commit to a title. Wow. You're right about that. Well, just got to be careful with these relationship titles, you know. But if they're not going to give it to you, again, go back to what Sherry says. That's your answer right there. Okay. Okay. That was a good one right there, y'all. That was a good one. Okay. We're going to move on, though. I'm looking at the time. We're going to move on. We're going to talk about, what are we going to talk about? Well, you know what? Let me think for about 10 seconds. Because then this could, know what? Let me do this one. Let me do this one right here. Let me see if I have enough time because I still some things I want to kind of get into. Okay. Ooh, that's a long one too. Okay, let me go. Let's talk about gender roles. Let's talk about gender roles. Okay, just sit back and take a listen.
Why it's critical to understand what head of the household means to you in your relationship. Let's talk about it. Hey, boo, thanks, Lavanya Trying here, author, therapist. Most importantly, I am in this journey with you. And I want to talk to those that are dating seriously, engaged, or married. And you want to define what head of the household actually means to you biblically, right? And not just what it means biblically, but what it means to you interacting with your husband, right? As a woman, the Bible, if you believe biblical, then that means that the man is the head of the household. That means that God has created him as your covering. What does that mean to you? Because what that means biblically, what that means practically might look very different. So head of household, does that mean that he makes all the decisions, or does that mean that he has the final decision? Does that mean that he gets to make decisions without talking it through to you because he has your best interests at heart? Or does this mean that y'all get to discuss everything, but he casts the deciding vote? Does this mean that he takes over the finances, or he takes over the responsibilities of the household and those kind of things, and you take over something else? What does this mean? So when you're defining head of the household, it's very important that you don't fall into these traditional gender male and female roles without having that conversation to know what this person does, right? When me and my husband got married, we had to sit down and define the roles of who does what, right? We both work. So expecting us both to have full-time jobs and have side businesses and all the housework and the cooking and the cleaning falling on my shoulders don't happen, right? So that was a conversation that we had in the beginning so that we both understood when we were walking into this marriage what that looked like. And my husband didn't have that expectation that I did all the cooking and cleaning, right? He expected us to be a partnership, but we had to define what that partnership looked like. So I just want to encourage you that if you're dating someone, if you're engaged to someone, you're looking to marry someone, or y'all are just now married, sit down and have a family meeting and say, what does this look like? We're not going to talk about stereotypical roles. We're going to talk about what is your role? What is my role? How do I help you? How do you help me? So that we can both win together. I hope this helps. Follow up for more. Meet me in the comments.
Gender roles. So what do y'all think about what she had to say? What are y'all thoughts about that? About the gender roles? What are your thoughts right there? Are gender roles an outdated concept than they have been in the past? Okay. I like that right there. Kitty says conversations like that should be had prior to being engaged or married. Yet I actually agree. I agree with that right there. Mm-hmm. I don't think you should wait till till after you jump the broom and then want to say, well, you're gonna be doing this, you're gonna do that, I'm gonna do this. No, I think it should be discussed during the talking stage, the dating stage, the courtship stage. That's what I believe right there, too. But definitely, it should definitely be discussed prior to marriage. Definitely, you know, and then you have to be, but when you discuss gender roles, you got to be careful not to get into and especially as a male, get into chauvinism, you know, because then you start talking about the traditional gender roles, like the hubby is the breadwinner and wife stays at home, and nothing wrong with that, but this is the 21st century though, and these days, unless hubby is pulling in six figures, you know, both husband and wife may need to work in this economy, in this economy, what we're dealing with. So let me see what we got here. Renee, I do agree that in a marriage, the man is the head of the household. However, we should have a conversation how we are going to handle things. Absolutely. This should be discussed during dating. I agree. Reggie says roles can be different. The older you get, especially when you have been single for years, how much of your independence are you willing to give up that would define the roles to an extent? That's a good question right there. I agree, Mike. So you know whether or not your expectations are absolutely, absolutely. I agree with that. Gender roles doesn't. Now this is an interesting take. Gender roles doesn't exist anymore. Both parties must talk about who. You know what? I get what you're saying right here. In other words, traditional gender roles aren't automatic anymore. You can't assume that she's going to do this and he's going to do that. It has to be talked about. I get that right there. You're absolutely right. Sheila, how can two walk together except they be agreed? You have to have these conversations. Again, it's about expectations and making them known. Wow, just like those titles, huh? Just like those titles. Sherry says, sure, we should establish who will do what, but not as a gender role. We should discuss all issues, but the final decision is of the husband. Okay. Erica, I think it's necessary to discuss that we are each going to do. No, excuse me. I think it's necessary to discuss what are we each going to do and are responsible for in a marital relationship. No one should be assuming the gender roles as they look different from how they used to be. Yeah, you're right. And you are right. Okay. Okay. Whoa, Reggie, that's good. Yeah, that was a good point right there. Okay. Now, some things are men were, and nothing wrong with that. And I only do them now because I'm single. Hey, nothing wrong with that. I agree with you on that right there. I agree. but then you may bring up another question though. But what are women female roles though? Are there female specific roles? As you know, back in the 50s, the wife kept the house cleaned up, cooked, and everything. But you got guys who are neat freaks, and guys can get down in the kitchen. Is that against normal gender roles though? Y'all let me know right there. Okay. Uh yeah, some things are men. Well, all I know one thing is that you have to discuss these roles with each other though. And again, I think tonight's theme is expectations. Don't y'all agree? Expectations in relationships. I like that. Expectations in relationships. I might change the title to this too in post production. Expectations in relationship. What y'all think about that? But hey, let me see. Good evening, D. Good to have you here. Doesn't the Bible answer which question, Sheila? Help me, because I'm old. Yes, I don't mind traditional gender roles. I'm not saying that we don't pitch in help. Okay, oh yeah, I know you wasn't saying that. But yeah. And it goes back. Oh, here comes Mark. Let me see what Mark got to say. If men are expected to be the breadwinner and women are nurtured, be prepared for the imbalances. With one or both parties feeling overwhelmed by expectations or lack of fulfillment. Okay. Agree with you about changing the title. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I like that right there. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna do that for the whole episode though. Yeah, that's what pretty much good right there. Yeah. Uh Expectations. Okay, I like that right there. Latoya. I agree with you, Mike. We need to discuss the roles. Okay. Okay. We might talk more about it in the after party though. But this is pretty good though. Just gonna say it. Gender roles, even though we're in the 21st century, I think gender roles are very important. Let me read what Kitty says. For example, when I get married, I'm not touching a thing on my car. He will handle anything that needs to be fixed. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But I know some women that can fix things too, though, and fix them good. So hey, it's just one of those things. But nothing wrong with that, though. Nothing wrong with that. Gender roles are important, and just like the titles, you need to discuss this as well in the talking stage, dating stage, and yeah, and right there. Some men exactly. Gender roles are important. At least the discussion of it is important. Okay, so make sure you talk about it and, and everything. Okay, okay. Okay, this probably be the last one for the night. It's about a wedding engagement. Okay, we're gonna talk about wedding proposal rather. Oh, boy, if this doesn't discuss about expectation, is this doesn't it's you know the epitome of expectations. I don't know what it is. Y'all sit back, clutch your pearls, and take a look and take a listen.
Ever since he told me that he was going to engage Mama, I was so happy. And it has been my wish that he would be happy. So, on the day of the engagement, he kept calling and saying, Ella, how's everything going? The flower arrangement. So, just
you. We'll make you find confusing as long as you're here. The one and only MC Dafo.
Well, well. Let's see what y'all got to say about this right here. Let me see what Erica got to say. Yes, they are in the continent of Africa. They at the motherland. Yes, that is embarrassing. Yes. Confused. What just happened? She turned down his she turned down his proposal. Is this real? Yes, it is. It's very real. I am confused. Yes, she is. He proposed to her. Okay, hey, let me tell you what happened. Let me give you the background. They were both at a wedding, someone else's wedding. So that was the reception right there. And she was giving a speech about the bride and groom. And, Ange, you spoiling it. Angela, you spoiling it. You know I was going to cover it, though. Anyway. And she was giving a speech, and he decided to propose to her at the wedding reception. So there you have it right there. So now that sounds bad though. So sit back and listen, okay?
Good morning, everyone. For some reason, I have been trending for the wrong reasons, which I am here to clear the air. Now, first of all, am I supposed to apologize? Yes, but will I apologize? No. And I won't apologize because Wizzy Ben deserves what he got. You can't be asking a lady out for the past how many months and she clear-cut told you to your face that she cannot date you and gave you reasons why she can't date you. One of the reasons is because he stays in Port Harcourt and I stay in Lagos. I don't do long-distance relationship. I have made this clear times without number. I have told him, guy, me, I cannot do anything with you because you stay far away from me. Why you go come person wedding? A wedding that you and we were invited to, and you're coming to propose to somebody. Like, does it make sense to you? Does it make sense? You won't disgrace yourself, I disgrace you now. Everybody is blaming me for it. You're the one who wanted to disgrace yourself. I did not disgrace you. I only gave you what you deserve. I beg now, can you, Edafe and Brian, stop all of this? You people should stop. Stop. Look at my DM. I'm getting death threats for Christ's sake now. I'm getting death threats because of you people. If Brian hadn't posted that video now and you and Edafe didn't respond to the video, how will I be getting those kind of threats? My friends, now my DM is filled up. Why? Because everybody is now seeing me as a bad person. Anybody who won't even see me as bad person, self, you don't even consign me again, self. See me as whatever you want to see me as. Like, this is not nice now. Lizzie Ben, I beg. Call your dogs. Put them on a leash, I beg. Let nobody enter my DM again to come and threaten me. May nobody come threaten me because of you. I don't talk and I won't say it again.
So that's what happened right there. Plain and simple, they weren't dating because she said, hey, she doesn't do long distance dating. They did come to the wedding together, and he decided to propose, and that was her reaction. Let's see what the comments got to say. Okay, let's see what the reactions got to say. Reggie said she was wrong. It's two left shoes putting your hands on a person, no matter what country you are in. Okay. You dodged a bullet. Okay. Okay. Tanya, great to have you here. That's tacky. Yes. They're not even dating. So lucky she is not in the States. She could be facing jail time. Okay. Yes, he was harassing her at this point and thought because she was in public, she wouldn't deny him. That was not the time for him to propose, especially weren't even dating. Now, Latoya says still she shouldn't have slapped him. Anger issue. I have to beg to differ, though. Granted, you shouldn't. You should keep your hands to yourself, but she had, at least according to her, he had been harassing her, and just at the point, they weren't even dating. I'm not saying that she should have did that, but I don't think she had an anger issue. That's just me, though. But that's just me. If the shoe fits, put it on. She is full of herself and dead wrong. Okay. Exactly, Aries. That was not an excuse. Wait, that was not an excuse to slap him. Okay. And I mean, I can understand the long distance reason, but how about playing a what if game? I'm just asking. Well, okay. It's harassment. I'm not sure I would have slapped him, but I would have declined for sure. Yes. Well then, that's what he gets. Okay, it's full because of her behavior. He dodged the bullet. This is gonna be an interesting debate. She's still wrong. Keep your hands to yourself. She could have just walked away. Okay. He tried to press up on her and she already said no. Okay. Yeah. Where's my money? Okay. Did she give him mixed signal? Not. Hey, that's a good question right there. That's a good question. He put her on the spot in front of the family and friends of someone else's wedding. But that's not that made him slap him. So why did they attend? That is a good question. That is a good question right there. That's a good question. They are creative ways to handle someone who is harassing you. Okay. Well, I'm wondering the same thing, Tanya. I'm wondering the same thing. Culturally, the men don't usually take no for an answer. Ooh, Sheila. If Will Smith can, okay. Okay. He was harassing her. A simple no and leaving the room would have sufficed. Okay. We are always hollering, me too, me too. And when she defends herself, you don't think it's warranted. There should be no misunderstanding going forward. I think after that right there, okay. Whew. They try to wear you down. I know from personal experience, she should have just said no and walked away. You don't go to a wedding with someone who is, yeah, yeah. You play stupid games, ellipses. Maybe she was giving him mixed signals. All I'm gonna say is whoa. That's all I got to say. Is whoa. No still means no. Okay. Okay. A simple no didn't do it the first 100 times. So now he has her in public. Yeah, he deserved that slap. Ooh. They could be part of the wedding party. And that's hey, and that's a good one. That's a good answer right there. Whew. That's a mess right there. That's all I got to say. That's a mess. That's a mess. That's a mess. And let me put this up here. We can't assume they came as a couple. Okay. That's a mess. The only thing I got to say is expectations and communication. Whew. Yep. Okay. On a lighter note, and I'm going to play this little funny video. I like it. About job interviews. I think we've all been here before. So sit back and take a listen.
Hello?
Hey, it's Lillian, the recruiter.
Yeah, hi Lillian, what's up?
Yeah, so I'm just calling to let you know that we did decide to go in a different direction. I just wanted to give you a heads up. I didn't just want to email you.
Okay, not a problem. So just be on the lookout for an email from me later today, okay?
I feel like that's my line. What am I receiving an email from you regarding?
I'll be emailing you an invoice.
An invoice for what exactly?
Yeah, I had 5 interviews with you guys. You guys wasted about 10 hours of my time telling me that I was a top contender and basically assuring me that I had this job, to only call me now and tell me last minute that you decided to go in a different direction. So I will be submitting an invoice for the time that you guys wasted.
This wasn't done maliciously. I mean,
No, see, what happens is that you guys sit there and you interview multiple people and you ask them questions and you figure out what they would do in certain situations, and then you don't hire any of them. And then you use their knowledge to handle issues that you may already be having. And that is wholly unfair to people that are looking for a job. So I will be submitting an invoice, because even if it's not for my time, it's for the knowledge, because the questions that you guys asked were very, very specific. So it goes to show that you guys have these issues within your company and you really wanted just some free consultations. So my consultations are not free. I charge $400 an hour for my private consultations. So I will be submitting an invoice for the time that you wasted and all of the information that you got out of me. And I hope that everyone else does the same.
This is extremely rude and unprofessional.
I'm not worried about being professional with you at this time. You're not hiring me anyway, so I don't need to be professional with you. And I'm actually being very respectful.
I feel like this is an extreme measure.
Just know that you'll be receiving an invoice, okay? Oh, all right. Bye,
No,
Lily. Okay,
so
bye-bye.
wait,
Bye.
I like Veronika. I like Veronika. Veronika is hilarious. She's a 1099 contractor now and did some consultations. That's right. You know, yeah, folks try to nickel and dime you. Folks try to cheat you. Yeah, you gotta, yeah. and especially with these job interviews, you know, Veronika set them straight, you know. Veronika set them people straight. But think about it though. You wasted time, gas, resources, and everything, and you're not gonna get hired. And you could have been doing something else, like making soap or candles or shelling peas or something productive though. And Tanya, and this is exactly what they do. Take the info you give them after you've explained in detail situations they can't handle. I have always been told to keep info like that very brief in an interview. Wait a minute. The grift is real. Amen, Erica. She ain't lied, not one time. Uh, they were using her. Veronika is standing on bit. That's right. You got to with these grifters these days. They use they do. She said what she said. $400. Yes. Yes. Man, y'all. Veronica's a real person. I like Veronika all the time. She get them. It's part of the process. I like her. She stand on business. I like her. That's my cousin. Okay, anyway. But guess what? We out of time and a bit over time though. So let's get with these announcements, shall we? I don't know why that goes. Man, we tired of that. I didn't want that. There you go. Up next, at 1:30, we're gonna have our after party. Bring your snacks, your libation, and medication, and we'll just sit down and discuss what we talked about or talk about what's going on. We're just gonna talk, have a good time. The link is already, if you're in SBC or SBCC, the link is already posted. There, it looks just like this graphic. We're gonna open up in about, like I said, 1:30 though. So you got about maybe 20 something minutes. So okay. And then next week we will just have the fellowship, no show. Just the fellowship. We're gonna start at the same time as this tonight. So we're gonna chit chat, and of course the week after that, Lord's willing, we're gonna have another exciting edition of SBC Tuesday Talk. And that is it, y'all. Thank y'all so much. I hope y'all enjoyed this show. Hope y'all were educated and learned something and what have you. Thank y'all so much for your support. And I truly appreciate each and every one of y'all. And I love y'all. Thank y'all. I disagree. You know what, we can disagree without being agreeable. Thank y'all so much for your support. Be careful out there. Stay vigilant. Be aware of your surrounding. Be kind to each other. Love on each other. And most importantly, don't take any wooden nickels. So until next time, so long, everybody.